Everyone. All right, we're giving everybody a few moments to get in. We're 2 past the hour, so we want to get started and make the use of everyone's time. I hope you enjoyed the smooth sounds of premiumbeat.com. I didn't know that was going to come up. That was funny, but I always like to play some music before, royalty-free music. My name is Nick Esposito. I am the, actually give me 1 second. I'm just going to go with this. Great. So I am the Director of Policy and Engagement here at Circular Philadelphia, and I'm joined by a great group of people today. Thank you so much for joining. And we are here to present a webinar about reusable to-go food containers. This is co-hosted by Circular Philadelphia and the Office of Sustainability. And the first person I am going to introduce after I talk about the agenda real quick, is Helena Rudolph. So again, just to go over the training agenda, we are going to be talking about the administrative change and the justification for doing so. We're going to go over some FDA and state guidelines for the container type washing and distribution standards, and then talk about what this future looks like and acknowledgements of everybody that took part. So like I said, we're going to get started, and I'm going to turn it over to Helena Rudolph from the Office of Sustainability to say a few words about everything that's been going on with this this change and how it connects to the city's sustainability goals.
Awesome, thanks, Nick. And yeah, I'll try to keep it brief here. Really want to spend the bulk of the time on this new guidance, but nice to see everyone today. My name is Helena. I'm the Waste Reduction Programs Lead for the Office of Sustainability at the City of Philadelphia. And I'm excited that the Office of Sustainability is able to co-host this event today. And I'm eager to see how this rule change will facilitate systems of reusables and other durable materials that reduce waste at the source rather than leaving us to figure out what to do with it before it's sent to the landfill. So if you're a restaurant owner in Philly, you're probably experiencing a bit of information overload right now, from the brand new guidance that will be shared today to the launch of the city's plastic bag ban to new guidance published by the OOS about sustainable food waste management just a few weeks ago. Well, there's reason for that. These 3 pieces of guidance I just named, they're all connected and foremost advise business owners to prioritize waste reduction at the source rather than just proper recycling and disposal. And this is a huge deal, in my opinion, and reflects a broader policy shift towards encouraging circularity and reuse rather than our current take and throw culture. So this is also why OOS is excited to be working with the folks here, leading the charge in creating a local circular economy that brings government, businesses, and residents all into the fold. These systems work best when we're all in sync and we're practicing them together. So with that, I want to thank Circular Philadelphia and Ecosystems for organizing the information that will actually help you, the business owner, put reusable systems into practice. And I want to thank also Tiffin Restaurant for inspiring this impactful change and ultimately bringing all the groups you see here today together.
Great. Thank you so much, Helena. I really appreciate that and everything you guys have done to support this rule change. So speaking of the rule change, which everybody's here for and very excited about, I'm going to change. And just want to make sure, did everybody see the screen? Just maybe a thumbs up if you saw the slide advance. We're good? All right, great. So I'm going to invite Dr. Palak Ravella-Nelson as the Director of Environmental Services and Code Enforcement at the Health Department to discuss the new administrative code change that has happened. Palak?
Hi there. Good afternoon. Can everybody see me and hear me, hopefully?
Great.
Okay, awesome. So this is really exciting for us as not only as regulators, but overall to achieve our mission of environmental health services, which is really to create safer environments. A big part of safer environments involves us working with industries to manage and secure waste, because we know all of those items have direct connections to everything from, rodent harborage and rodent issues to food safety issues to overall global climate change. So we're really excited to partner with everybody on this call to encourage folks to think about using reusable containers and reusable items so that we are not creating more areas of waste. My staff have already begun conducting inspections and incorporating the reusable containers as a part of the inspection process for existing establishments that want to take part in all of this. For brand new establishments that are undergoing plan review that want to go ahead and use reusable containers, they would go ahead and just submit that during their application process. But this is really exciting. My team and I are all on board, and we will also be working on some YouTube videos to share with folks to go ahead and promote this process of reusable containers and reducing waste.
Thank you, Palkin. Just to clarify again on that first point, so anybody who is starting to use reusable containers as an existing business, they will just be inspected on their next regularly scheduled health inspection, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. There's nothing extra that you need to do. There's no requirement for a variance form or anything like that. During your next annual inspection cycle, or if we get a complaint inspection during your next inspection, as a part of the inspection, we'll be looking to see, how do you serve your customers? Is it in disposable items? Is it reusable? Is it, what exactly are you using? And that'll just be a part of the inspection process.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for including us.
Of course. And one slide that we wanted to put in here, and again, you're going to get these slides afterwards. And again, part of what Circular Philadelphia was built for and what we're here for is to work with all these partners that you're going to hear from today to, again, get the best information out there possible, make the best policies possible so the circular economy can thrive. One major concern that comes up is especially around COVID. And I remember when it first happened, I'm sure many restaurants said there was a lot of confusion. Can reusables harbor COVID? Are there problems with this? And again, what we put in the presentation, just so you have it, is a statement from 150 international scientists talking about the safe use of reusables, even in this new reality that we're living through with COVID-19. So definitely wanted to put that in there. So that's something for you all to look at.
And I'm sorry, Nick, if I may say one thing to that point, I just want to kind of remind folks that reusable to-go containers and the virus, it's the same as if you go to a restaurant and dine in and you're reusing utensils and plates and dishes that are washed. It's the same concept. As long as there's washing, rinsing, and sanitizing, everything that needs to be killed off will be killed off.
Fantastic. Thank you, Palak. You're going to hear a lot more about this today, but again, what we're really looking to do at Circular Philadelphia is around just market transformation. And again, you've heard from Helena Rudolph from the Office of Sustainability, from Health, about just the benefits of reusable containers. Again, the numbers that we've have is about $5 per reusable container, which can be used 1,000 times. Couple that with 875 single-use plastic containers, almost 1,000 times, and you're spending upwards of $250. What we like to really talk about with market transformation in the circular economy in Circular Philadelphia is it's not just the better for the environment, it's a better deal for you. And you're going to hear about that later, right from businesses that are doing this. Again, but many people probably know these stats: 14.5 million tons of plastic packaging produced in 2020, 14% was actually recycled. Right here in Philadelphia, 30% residential trash increase because of the pandemic and everybody being home. And there's plenty of news outlets that have covered that. All of those to-go containers that people are using to can continue to support your restaurants, adding to that increase. So how can we use this as a grid turning point to move forward better? And again, there's some great Philadelphia models that we can do that are already happening right now. And you're going to be hearing from two of those models today. Again, we have Ecosystems and Elisa Sharkar-Dorosky, who is the owner of that company, is going to talk a little bit more about the guidelines and the best practices around doing this. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Munish Narula from Tiffin Restaurants to talk about the Return to Tiffin program.
Well, thank you very much.
Just to let you know, Nick, the slides aren't progressing.
Okay. So the slides aren't.
I'll give you a minute for that.
Yep. Let me go back. This is why I'd rather be in person. All right. Can everybody see that screen? It says Philadelphia models. And then reusables make sense. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to start sharing my screen again. I'm sorry that this is happening. All right, 1 second. All right. Can everybody see the screen now?
It's the home screen.
Great, great. So that's the beginning. So this is kind of what you missed, and I'm sorry that that happened. The training agenda, again, this was the new administrative code. This is what you're going to see. This was the COVID safety concerns, the benefits of using single-use containers, which I just went over. The cost of reusable containers, as you're going to see when you get this presentation, and then Philadelphia models. Again, we're going to hear from ecosystems later, but I'm going to turn it over to return to Tiffin to go from us.
Thank you very much, Nick. First of all, I want to thank Nick, Elena, Dr. Nelson. You guys have been great supporters of the program and helped us launch this properly and in the right way. So thank you very much. So this idea was something that we had been working on for a while. Only problem with that idea was that we just could not find the right containers. We'd wanted to do this for 2-3 years now, maybe longer, but we just could not find the right containers to do it. And in January of this year, we found these containers that we thought would work. We ordered samples, we got them in. They're actually, Nick, the containers we're using right now, it's about $3.50 on an average. So it's actually cheaper than $5. So I believe it's about $3.50 per container. So once we found the container, it was also a technology issue there, that how do we track what's going on, what's coming in. At $3.50, it could get very expensive to send out 8, 9, 10 containers in one bag and not get them back. So it took us about 2.5 months to get the technology piece straightened out, where every container we send out gets a QR code, it's scanned into our system. And when the customers have 4 weeks to return it, when they do, it's scanned back into the system, so we know the containers have come back. When we launched this in March of I think it was 22nd of March, I was sitting at my home. It was a Monday, because we decided to launch on a slow day. It was a Monday, and I decided to see how things were going. And when I opened my laptop and started checking different restaurants, it was going crazy. So I started calling the restaurant and saying, hey, what's going on? Are we really sending out that many containers? They're like, yep. If this keeps up, we might run out in a couple of days. That's how successful the program was right off the bat, without any marketing, without any getting the word out, just our customers, they knew about it. We feel like after we've launched this, our sales have gone up. So not just we have benefited, environmentally or helped, but our sales have definitely gone up. I cannot quote exact numbers, but the sales are up over last year. So, and it coincided with our launch of this program. So we feel like that it really did help, not just the environment, but as a business, it helped our sales. It increased our sales. So we're making more money. As far as the cost is concerned, it is expensive to launch. The technology is a factor, but once you get the program rolling, it actually becomes cheaper to have this program, because after a certain number of uses, the container has paid for itself. And every time we send it out now, we are actually saving 12, 14 cents that we would have spent on a single-use plastic container. So the way it works is you go to our website, you order food from us. As an added incentive, we also give you T-coins. So you get 10% back for using the program. You enjoy the food. You have 4 weeks to return. Just rinse the containers. Our customers don't have to do anything with it. We ask them to rinse the container. They put it back in the reusable bag that we send it with. They bring it back to us, and we do the rest in terms of sanitizing and reusing the containers. So far, a great success, and I will encourage anybody who's even thinking about it. If you want to talk to us offline, or it's just an amazing program, just go do it.
Thank you so much, Munish. And that's extremely important, again, to have. I know there's a lot of businesses on here, a lot of food establishments that are excited to hear straight from a business that is doing this and is making it work and making it profitable and doing something better for our environment. It's a win-win all around. So thank you so much.
It is a win-win all around.
So now to get into the actually how you do it and get into more of that, I'm going to turn it over to Elisa Shargodowski. One quick thing on this, as the slides you're about to see, and you're going to get this presentation afterwards. All of the links are hyperlinked and sourced in this presentation. So you'll be able to click on that and get more information. And also just one caveat I wanted to give is you will see some links that are for the web restaurant store. Again, they have the best kind of amalgamation of all the different NSF certified products that we wanted to show examples of, but I just wanted to give the caveat that we are not like endorsing or saying you should go to that website, please. As you know, there's a lot of resources that you're going to see as you make your decisions, but hopefully there's some really good options here to get you started as you get going. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Elisa.
Thank you. And thank you to Circular Philly and the Office of Sustainability and the Department of Health for ushering these programs through. We're really excited to participate in this, and a little background information on ecosystems. We design systems that help eliminate the creation of solid waste. So that includes these returnables. And currently we're working at Weaver's Way. We have just reached our 1,025 mark for reusables, which is really excited. And we're just here to discuss how businesses can do this better and some of the processes, get into the detail and the minutia of that. So without further ado, I'll echo what Palak said earlier, that the same processes will be applied for your business. If you're a food service establishment, you'll be applying the same process. So just as you were doing before with all your in-house flatwares, you're going to be sanitizing just in the same way, except there's a few small changes that we're going to review here. So here we see this original Title 21 and the FDA standard in Part 110 says that you have to, in order to prevent any pathogenic spread, any diseases, we want to make sure that things are properly stored and handled, the surfaces are properly cleaned, so there's no cross-contamination of reusables. We can progress to the next slide. There's two different ways that that businesses can wash these containers, but we want to apply the same methodology as we would for in-house flatwares with our washing cycle. So either with a automated dishwasher or with a triple basin NSF sink, you will be applying the same methodology. So you just want to make sure that with a automatic dishwasher, that the detergent is automatically dispensed, that the minimum wash temperatures range between 150 and 165 for the wash cycle, and that it is 120 temperature for the chemical sanitizing process and 180 for the high temp sanitization. And that again prevents any kind of spread of pathogens to the customer. You can progress. If you do not have an automated dishwasher, it's fine to use a triple basin sink. You just have to make sure that when you're applying these processes, same thing, you just need to make sure that you're using sanitizing tablets or some kind of chemical to make sure that these things are being fully submerged in the sanitizing solution, and that you want to make sure that these materials stay in that solution between 7 to 30 seconds to make sure that there's no pathogens remaining on these dishes. And you also want to make sure that after the wash cycle is complete, that there's no oily substances on the containers. If you're feeling like there are oily substances, you have to make sure that you rewash those containers. And the drying process is perhaps, in my opinion, the most important, because you have to make sure that before you're stacking these things, that you have them fully dried. And the way that we do that, because we could wash hundreds of containers at a time, we use this roll rack that we keep covered and clean, and we also sanitize it between each drying cycle to make sure that no dust has landed on it, there's no pathogens on it. We take this piece very seriously at Ecosystems when doing this. So we did have a recommendation here for NSF drying racks. Again, that will send you to a web surround store. There are other places that you can buy them, but they should be rust proof. And they should not be stacked in the process of drying, because that prevents the air from circulating. So you just want to make sure that everything is air dried. Nothing can be towel dried. And that's a very important piece. It has to be fully air dried before you can restack them. And all of your staff should be trained. And we also always emphasize this piece that there's a lot of turnover in establishments. So these trainings should be made available, for every new staff member coming on as a part of a new staff training protocol. That's really important, so that everybody new who's coming in is made aware of this. program. And in your hiring process, it's also recommended that you let people know that this is a part of your internal culture. So another thing that we would want to consider is what kind of containers can we use? As Tiffin mentioned, we want to make sure that these, he said that he was searching for the right kind of container. We always recommend, if your materials are, have liquidy, saucy stuff, that you use a container that has a good seal on it. That way you won't have upset customers who get, their car messy because some sauces has spilled out in their car. You want to avoid that. And there are containers that have a really great seal on them that will prevent that from happening. We cannot use single use as reusables or cardboard materials in this process. You want it to be non-absorbent, and almost always they need to be NSF certified. And that's very important. So storage, that's another consideration that we always like to emphasize. These should be cleaned daily. So that's very important. You don't want dirty containers sitting around. You're just going to clean them the way that you do all of your other in-house dishes. At the end of every day, most restaurants have all of their supplies cleaned and prepared for the next day. And that's very much similar to how you'll process this. You'll want to make sure that the containers that you're storing them in, however, are sealed. You do not want them exposed to, you don't want an open container with a clamshell sitting up front, because that could allow for pathogens to land in there. You want them to be face down, and also having a distinction in your storage process between clean and dirty containers is very important, because you would never want a staff member to get confused between which containers are clean and dirty, especially if you're telling your customers to return those residue free. They will look clean when the customers bring them back, but that also means that as an establishment, you are required to clean them and sanitize them before you can apply them for reuse. And that's a caveat that we always want to emphasize here, that even though the customer will bring it back residue free, you still have to wash it to make sure that it's completely clean.
So thank you so much, Elisa, for going through that. And again, to us, this is what change looks like. In 5 years, maybe who knows how long, like it could just be the norm that when you get takeout food in Philadelphia, it's coming in reusable containers, because the system is easy to follow. People are doing the right thing, keeping it safe, making sure that people, this can continue in a safe way, which is like so important. Again, Elisa, thank you for Ecosystems and all the work you all did to kind of really look at these guidelines and provide your feedback and help develop this presentation. And then, obviously, Dr. Vel Nelson and the health department, all the work they're going to be doing to kind of make sure that this system works. And that, as Munish said, it is more profitable, and it's going to be a better outcome for Philadelphia in the long run, because it's better than all this stuff washing up on the beach, and definitely all of these overflowing trash cans right here in our own city that are adding to litter and all of these issues. So again, Circular Philadelphia is here to be that catalyst to work, to provide the resources, trainings like this, market transformation, everything we need to do to move towards a more circular Philadelphia. So you'll have this information when you get it. And also Ecosystems, again, subject matter experts who have a lot of expertise in this field. Should you have more questions and need to reach out, Elisa's information is there. And again, thank you so much to all of our partners, the Office of Sustainability, Department of Public Health, Ecosystems, and Tiffin for sharing everything on this presentation. So thank you so much. In the thank you, there's links for further reading that are just more about, the impact that single-use plastic has on our environment, on our bodies, and our waste streams, that you can have all these different links. And again, my information is there for any questions should you need to reach out to Circular Philadelphia. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and bring it back to the chat here, and wanted to look through and have a Q&A. Again, if it goes a little bit past 3, we're trying to be mindful. I know a lot of people are running restaurants, they might need to get back to work, that this was gonna be half an hour, but we can extend if there are a lot of questions. So if you do have a question, please use the kind of raise your hand reaction, and Julie will unmute you, and we could ask your question, or please put it in the chat. And again, I apologize for the slides not advancing. There were 2 different presentations that were up. Saw some stuff there, and I did see one question that was happening was if you're getting sustainable credits for this, please get in touch and let us know if you have any credits you would need, if we have anything we need to fill out for this presentation. Great. And I see some stuff in the chat too about, different people sharing resources already about where you can get different containers. And there's a GETs on the call. So thank you for joining. Great. So the one question that just came in from Deborah, how to make sure all participating restaurants are contributing containers equitably. Julie, can you unmute Deborah so maybe she can expand on that question a little bit?
Hi. Just, if like 4 restaurants in a local area are doing this, you don't want one restaurant contributing all the 350 containers and other restaurants are just, reusing them and not contributing to the pool of containers. So do the restaurants talk? Do they coordinate?
So that's a really good question, Deborah. And that comes to the kind of market transformation we're looking to do. In a future, there could be a place where, and there are examples for this. I know GoBox in Portland, which is the system that all the food trucks downtown are using, they are all collectively using the same containers. What Manish is doing right now is, basically this is just a Tiffin. These are Tiffin's containers. They're going out to Tiffin customers and coming back to Tiffin. So that is kind of how their system is right now. And again, this is, I think, an ongoing conversation. The first thing we needed to do was just make sure that this was allowable through Philadelphia Health Code, that restaurants could even start doing this on their own. But that's a continued conversation with restaurants. Should we be able to start having people, using, interchangeable containers?
Nick, we do have a program with a website in the works. It's about 2 months away, I would imagine, where we will allow restaurants to participate and list their name on that website. And we will provide the containers and collect the containers. I did not want to put that in the slide because we're still about 2 months away, maybe 2.5 months away, because we're still working on the technology aspect of it. But to Deborah's point, this would be a platform where people can sign up with us. Our company or the new company will provide containers to everybody and collect containers and sanitize them. And this will be like a collection house of restaurants that want to participate, but don't want to bother with the technology aspect of it, or don't want to spend the upfront money to buy a lot of containers.
Great. Thank you, Munish. Are there any other questions? Well, we're coming up on 3, and I'm not seeing any questions coming up, which I'm going to think that we really did our jobs here. All the people who are in the training and putting this all together, we gave some great information. Again, to follow up on Manish's point, I see, again, a representative from GET, which is a container company here, is in the chat as well. There's models for this all over the country. This is happening. And again, the first step we needed to take in Philadelphia was just making sure that we could at least pave the way for the circular economy to make this possible and make sure that it's aligned with our health code. So there's no surprises or anything of that nature. So again, I hope that any restaurants that are on here, or any consultants or anybody who's looking to kind of launch something like this, you've seen this presentation, you'll get this presentation plus a recording of the webinar in the follow-up email. And that, we have done our due diligence, we've connected the dots, and we want to make sure that we can create a very smooth, seamless system for you all to be able to operate and grow. And again, get us to that point in Philadelphia where it's just the norm that we're using reusable containers all throughout the city. So if there are no further questions, again, you'll get this presentation. You could always get in touch directly with Circular Philadelphia, or we'll get the emails of people who are in this presentation. Again, thank you all. So we did have one more question that came in. What if folks, so 2 questions real quick, and I think these are really good. So how does Tiffin cut the QR code on? Is it a sticker? And what if folks, another question, decorate the containers? So maybe, I know Manish, you're doing this right now and you're in, have you had any experiences like that? Of anybody messing with your QR codes or putting their own stickers on there or some other stuff that shouldn't be on? And what have you done?
No, not really. See, the thing is that most people who are participating in the program are really devoted to the program. They're doing it because they want to do it. They're not just doing it because it's some new thing. So they're very careful with the program. We have a very high return rate. We don't lose our containers, and we haven't had issues where containers came back damaged or did not come back. We put our own logo on the containers, and we haven't had any issues. In fact, the return rate is so high that we tell people early on that if they don't return in 4 weeks, we'll have to charge them. Marion can back me on that, but I think we have not charged a single customer so far. And
That's correct.
5 or 6 months of doing this program, or whatever, however many months we've been doing it. Like I said, because people really love this program and they're participating because they want to. It's not forced on them. It's not something that, oh my God, I have to because I get food from Tiffin. They can just order from Tiffin and still get single-use containers. So if they're not enthusiastic about the program, they don't have to participate.
So there's a few other things that are coming in. Again, I want to say Marianne Kelly, as I mentioned you before from Tiffin. Thank you for being here, all the work you did for this. So I did want to give the caveat that people do have to jump, and I know we're past 3, that this is not the last webinar you're going to hear about this. Again, a part of the mission and what we're going to do at Circular Philadelphia is keep having these periodically as people start to do the programs. I saw something came in from Norman, just so everyone knows, for items sold by retailers, labeling is a major issue. So as people start doing this, there's going to be best practices, there's going to be issues, there's going to be things that are going to be coming up that's more about the how does the system work. So we're going to continue to hold these webinars to keep passing this information on. So I understand if you have to jump, and if it's past 3 o'clock, we can answer a few more questions, and then we will wrap it up from there. So again, thank you everybody, and go back to the chat. How can customers encourage our favorite local restaurants to adopt this system? Work with Circular Philadelphia, and we can keep doing that. Work with we're going to keep putting this out to the broader public, promoting these success stories, and keep putting it out there that people are doing this and showing that this is a benefit for them. And that's one way that we can do that. Right. Well, not seeing any more questions. Again, don't want to hold anybody on. So again, thank you all so much for coming. This is a recorded webinar. You will get with your, the link will come out with this presentation and all the links that are in it, and a thank you email. So thank you all so much for it. Let's keep this conversation going. And thank you all to our partners again, Tiffin, Ecosystems, Office of Sustainability and Health Department. And thank you all for attending. Let's get reusable containers here in Philadelphia. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Nick.